So good morning. It's a pleasure to be here today with engineer Alper Sabuncuoglu from Turkey, who has just defended his master thesis inside our specializing master contract claim in delay management in construction works. His master thesis is titled Price Escalation in Construction Works due to extraordinary increases in the prices of materials and labor. And we are with Alper to know something about his experience in this specializing master.
Thank you, Giovanni. It was a great experience in the contract claim and delay management in construction works. In two aspects. First of all, the content of the program was extremely rich. And the second one, the time of the program, the time of my program was coincided with the pandemic. So we have found answers to basically all of our questions from the foremost experts of the world attending the courses. It was quite interesting, and many things that we have experienced during this COVID was new for even our professors as well, our lecturers. So we have found the opportunity to discuss these and discuss what remedies we can use in the contracts, which one is wise to use or which one is not, while we are pursuing the claims in the projects during our master's program. So it was very interesting time. So I wouldn't wish to have another pandemic for the entire world, but I mean, it was a very mind-opening for us to have the program right at the time of the pandemic.
Thank you, Alper. I think that your master thesis was quite interesting and in line with the contents of the master that you have followed. It's also a topic that we are experiencing right now practically all over the world. Therefore, because of the inflation that we are seeing everywhere, and also, of course, in the construction industry, and so how to deal with it and how to cope with this escalation in prices. Would you mind showing us some slides from your presentation and therefore tell us something about the contents of your master thesis?
Yeah, I'll be glad to do that. First of all, as we have been advised all through the course, the primary document, primary instrument for these kind of claims is the contract itself. So we have to make sure that to the extent possible everything is clearly provisioned in the contract, and if not, we have to ask during the tender, and we have to provide the notices all through the execution of the works on a timely basis, on a properly basis. For it to become a notice, it should be in accordance with the contract. Otherwise, you will lose your opportunity. This has been reminded to us, advised to us more than 100 times all through the course. So the price adjustment provisions, the contractors must carefully benefit from those. But obviously, these are not the only remedy for the contractors, especially in the event of such extraordinary situations, increase in the prices, lack of materials, delay in deterioration in supply chain, and simply deterioration of the economical balance of the contractors. So it's not only the provisions in the contract that the contractors should rely to pursue their rights and to recover their additional costs and losses. It is the laws the governing the contracts In Turkey, we have a Turkish Code of Obligations, and which is adopted from the Swiss law. And we know we have similar codes probably in all jurisdictions. So the contractors should be very aware of the codes which provide relief to them, especially in the event of such extraordinary situations. Especially one thing that we have been advised during the COVID pandemic, which we have been advised by all our professors, is in the event of such extraordinary changes, sometimes you may refer to force majeure provisions, even though these kind of changes are not covered by force majeure at first glance. Force majeure is something that we cannot unforesee at the time of the contract, and we cannot avoid. So these price increases cannot be foreseen. This much of increase cannot be foreseen and cannot be avoided by any contractor, any prudent businessman. So the program emphasized all of these very well on a very structured basis. And we have utilized this experience during the education in our projects. As we said, the codes are always provide some relief, if not all, to the contractors. And even though you don't at first glance have a remarkable opportunity in the contract, you may have that in the code, or you may have applicable similar cases. It should not necessarily be in the same jurisdiction. Globally, you have all sorts of such claims. You can use this. We have looked into numbers of cases during the program, which we can confidently rely on to support, because cases are always good. Instead of terminology, instead of literature, as a practical case, a recent case is much helpful with respect to the law that you refer to, which is not easy to exercise. So notwithstanding, it is on the contractors to make their notifications, to keep their obligations, to stick to their obligations to the extent possible, which we call in Latin is pacta sunt servanda. The contractors are obliged to continue performing unless it becomes extremely onerous to not to perform. In such event, they should either stop, or if they have to continue, they should notify the employers that they keep their rights. And ultimately, we all know that this situation will not be over forever. We may have similar occasions in the years to come, similar unusual circumstances. So the contractors must be aware, must be careful, and not to solely rely on the price adjustment provisions. And they have to talk to the owners for more robust, equitable adjustment mechanisms in the event of such cases, such situations, which is abnormal, basically abnormal. The program very sharply have raised these matters, touched upon these matters. We had the opportunity to come together with the industry professionals and professors from all around the world. Normally, we won't have the opportunity to meet all of them in a normal program. So this master's program was a very enriching program in that regard.
Thank you, Alper. Of course, as you told me, you were already working as a contract manager for many years, and you kept on working during the whole time this specializing master has last. Even though your experience is very clear in this field, I hope that the tools, the professional tools, and the information that this master has tried to provide will go on being useful for your professional careers in the future.
For sure. I mean, basics are always there. You have to know the basics. We have to know the fundamentals. The fundamentals were there 30 years ago. They are there now. They will be there another 30 years from now. We have to know, we have to scrutinize those basic fundamental principles before we go into further details. So this program was very good, addressed all those things, and which was good, another good aspect of the program. It's a good for refreshing your knowledge, industry knowledge.
Thank you very much. Bye, Alper. See you.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.